This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
How do you feel when you hear the word psychic? Spine-chilling goosebumps or a thrilling allure? A burning desire to discover more or an impulse to run? Fascination or fear? We all have intuition, perhaps even psychic ability. So why don't we use it? Fear of the unknown, fear of losing control, fear of meeting our dark side, or the fear instilled in humankind during the Spanish Inquisition that still sits in our cellular memory and holds power over otherwise unlimited minds? Natasha Rosewood brings the word psychic out of the witch's closet and into the light of the new age. Now, more than ever in our history, the planet needs us to acknowledge our power by paying attention to our inner voices. But first, we need to embrace and trust our intuition. Valeria interviews Natasha J. Rosewood. She is an author, quantum healer, intuitive coach, TV host, spirit medium, past life regressionist, and Ghostbuster. A long time ago, in a faraway land, England, Natasha Rosewood worked as a flight attendant, during which time her life also took off into the metaphysical world of palmistry and other divine knowledge. But it was when she moved to Canada in 1983 that she evolved from palmist to intuitive spiritual healer, and then past life regressionist, Ghostbuster, quantum healer, author, screenwriter, as well as radio and TV host. In her dedicated healing practice of many years, she has empowered thousands of people to remember who they really are and to find their joy. All 5 of her beloved, enlightening, comedic, and poignant books, I Think I'm Psychic, and You Can Be Too, I Thought You Were Dead, and other psychic adventures, Ghostly, Mostly True Stories, Flight of Your Life, Confessions of a 1970s Air Hostess, and The Longest Flight of Your Life, Confessions of a 1980s Air Stewardess, are intended to inspire the knowing intuition inside each one of us and remind us of all of humanity's unlimited potential to create, laugh, and of course, love, especially the self. Meet Natasha at natasharosewood.com. Here's the interview with Natasha J. Rosewood.
In your own words, who is Natasha J. Rosewood?
Well, Valeria, I would say that the very short version is that I am an empowerer of people. The longer version is that I use my skills as an intuitive psychic, spirit healer, Ghostbuster, past life regressionist, quantum healer, intuitive manifestation coach, author, and TV and radio personality. And I just use all those tools to bring the empowering message to people.
Yes, how wonderful. I love everything about your work, about you being open to life to the extent of going into the depth of it. Not all of us have the curiosity, the calling, or the courage to do what you have been doing. So thank you. Gosh, there's some where do I begin? I know you host a podcast too called New Beginnings for Love, Light, and Laughter with Natasha Rosewood. I want to mention that here. And you have written about 5 books. Is that correct,
yes.
Natasha?
Correct. 5 books so far. And working on a screenplay at the moment.
Wow, you're a busy bee. I love that word. Busy bee, busy bee. It's kind of cute. So talk to me, I guess the intuition. What is intuition and how do we how do we know when it's the inspiration, the thoughts, the guidance is coming from intuition?
Okay, so intuition is, I believe, our spirit guides and our higher self speaking to us from what I call divine intelligence. So intuition for me is a much higher level of intelligence. I call it intuitive intelligence, and it's available to all of us, so it's free.
Right.
And then the way it can manifest in our life is I will often ask questions of spirit and or of my intuition, and I'll wait for the answer, and the answer can come in words in my head. It can come in a feeling that, oh, I have to go down to Starbucks today because there might be somebody there who needs to meet me, or I need to meet them.
Right.
It's a little nudge from the divine guiding us towards our highest good. And we ignore this at our peril.
Right. Yes. Gosh, Natasha, for me, the challenge has been getting the intuitive, listening to my intuitive thoughts and guidance, and really saying yes to them. I have been guided my entire life too. But then it seems like not to give us the entire instructions, like step by step. Is that something that I would love to hear from you how it works? Yeah, because I don't see the whole picture, especially with practical things. It's a challenge to know what is being. It's part of the intuitive first thought idea and what is coming in from other people and the ego and all of that. So
Exactly.
yeah, I would love to hear from you a bit more about that.
So I think the universe gives us. They don't lay it out all for us, because if they did, what would be the point in us being here? Because I do believe we come here on this earth to reclaim our power, to learn to love ourselves, to trust in that inner voice, that high voice.
Yeah.
And so they'll give us as much as we need to know. I even find that in my readings, Valeria, like I'll do a reading on a client, and I'll say, well, I know you're going to be making this change in about 3 months, but they're not showing me what it is because I don't think I'm meant to know. Therefore, you're not meant to know it just yet. We don't want to take the surprise out of your wonderful life, which is an adventure and should be an adventure. So sometimes we don't get the diagram and all the instructions, but there is a sense for me of it feeling right. Like I will just find myself in a place or picking up the phone and talking to somebody. And I always affirm, I actually set intention when I ask a question, please give me the answer that and the information that I need to hear, which is for my highest good. And so often I totally trust in that process. And I'm going to just say this, that what happens with a lot of people is they don't trust their inner voice. They don't trust it. And I understand this because when we're children, we're much smarter as children than we know. We're all psychic as children. We've just come from the spirit realm, and we'll say things to our parents, or we'll do things, and the parent will go, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're making it up. Of course you didn't talk to your dead grandfather last night when you went to bed. And what this does is it drives a wedge in between in our psyche. It drives like a chasm right down the middle and splits us off from ourselves. And I think this is what the problem is in the Western world these days, because we're not trusting that inner voice because we've been told not to. And so we grow up and we still get the messages and we still get the guidance, but we go, oh no, I can't be right because my mother told me that, I was making this up. And I used to teach intuitive development workshops, and will do again. And what people will say was, well, I heard the voice, but I didn't trust it. And so I went the other way and got into trouble. And then they'll say, yes, I knew I should have listened to that voice. So like I say, it's been kind of ingrained in us not to trust that intuitive voice, not to trust the invisible, and just to go with what makes sense on the surface. And often what makes sense on the surface actually has stuff lurking beneath the surface that isn't good for us. So while the intuitive voice might sound ridiculous or crazy or doesn't make sense, it's always, always, always right.
Wow. Wow. And there's no really way to know, right, Natasha? It's really it's trust based, isn't it? We
Well,
cannot fully
I
know.
want to say, yeah, I want to say it feels right. It feels good. Like,
Ah,
again, I'm going to go back to my readings, and
yeah.
I've told a client, oh, you're going to move and have 5 children. And they've looked at me and laughed their head off and said, you're out to lunch, Natasha.
Yeah.
And I check in with myself and I go, no, this is right. This feels solid. It's like, you got the contract in the hand, or, you're holding, it's solid. It's manifest
Right.
for me when I feel that the intuition is right. So it's sometimes if I have a decision to make or I've got 2 options of something to do,
Yeah.
I won't make that decision. I'll just wait until the right outcome is presented to me. And I'll go, yes, that feels right. Doesn't make sense maybe, but it feels right. It feels solid. And I'll follow that path. And sure enough, that ends up being the best possible thing I could have done.
Wow. So it feels right. And then when you say that it feels right in the body, is that a way to know?
Exactly.
In the body.
Exactly. And thank you for mentioning that, Valeria, because it feels right throughout the body, like in every cell of your being.
Yeah.
And, for our audience, I don't know how many people know this, but apparently in the human body, we have 37 trillion cells.
Right.
So if you think of every single cell being congruent with this one idea, then you're on the right path. And, sometimes intuition can give us a guidance which feels contrary to what everybody else wants us to do. And you'll often hear very successful businessmen saying, I followed my gut, even though people thought I was crazy.
Right.
And they're talking intuition, because the moment of truth or the message can often feel like it comes from the stomach area, which is the solar plexus,
Right.
where the solar plexus chakra is. And often I find that my intuition speaks to me through that. So how does it feel in my gut? Does it sit right? Is it easy? Or have I got kind of indigestion? And if I have indigestion, I know I haven't got the intuitive message yet.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's got to feel like you're at peace with it.
Yeah, thank you for saying that too. So confirming that one, and also including the feeling at peace with it. So yeah, it's almost like the alignment. It feels to me
Exactly.
everything comes into alignment, and there are no conflicts. There's no doubt really. That's how I feel. Like everything's saying yes to it: the body, the mind, and the spirit or the soul. That's how it feels to me. And I know when we think about the spirit or the soul, it feels like almost something that's abstract. And maybe that's why so many people, especially women these days, they're speaking a lot about the embodiment, less concepts, and just embodying more truth. So that's resonating with me a lot more these days too. The last 8 months has been fascinating to just witness like the body doing these things that I was not listening to it before, which is, it's so, and it's happening now. So I'm wondering, do you feel like so many people are speaking of this time that something is happening, the energies are rising? Yeah, I would love to hear from you.
Okay, so back in 1986, which might be before you were born, Valeria, I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
But I had a vision, and I wasn't really embracing, I would say, or accepting my psychic abilities at that time. I couldn't really believe it, although I was having all kinds of hits all over the place.
Right.
And I went away for 4 days down to the States, and while I was there, I kind of for 4 days went in and out of trances, and I had a lot of visions. And one of the visions was, and I called them divine intelligence. These beings came through, and they were just pure joy. So that's why I was attracted to the name of your podcast, Fit for Joy, because they said, joy is our ultimate destination. That's what our journey is about. So that's where we're all going to end up. Some of us are going to take longer than others. But what they predicted was the beginning of the 21st century, and we're in it right now. And they showed me that there would be individuals who would rise up and speak of a higher consciousness. And those individuals would attract others and form clusters. And those clusters would join together. And ultimately, the population of the earth would divide into two major frequencies, and the ones on the right would be the higher frequency of love and light, kindness, joy, spirituality. On the other side were the people who weren't ready for that evolution. And it wasn't a judgment. It's not like a hell and heaven thing. It's just that people are slow to grow, and the universe does not push us to grow. And those people would be here on this earth, and this thing like a tidal wave would come through. And I thought that was actually, in retrospect, I thought it was COVID when it came through and overwhelmed everybody. And we would have to really rise to the surface and swim with it. And those of the light would rise to the surface and swim with this new energy. It's a much higher frequency. But those on the other side who don't want to grow or are not ready for the evolution would be overwhelmed, and they would probably leave the planet. So there's a lot of people leaving right now, as we know, a lot of illness. And people just leaving. So to me, this is actually manifesting. And I keep telling people who think that the world is going to hell in a handbasket. And I say, well, actually, this is just the chaos before this massive growth. And when we get to the other side of this, we're going to be living in a very beautiful world, but two-dimensional, like those other people have gone off to another dimension. And we're staying in this higher, brighter dimension because we are ready for this rapid evolution. So what's happening is the magnetics on the planet Earth, the Schumann resonance specifically, is rising. I'm sure you know this. And it's affecting a gamma rays in our brain, which is our consciousness, which is our intuition. And I think a lot of people, because it's happening so quickly, and we a lot of us don't understand what's happening, so we're not recalibrating, we're not slowing down, we're not meditating. So the faster the energy gets, the more we need to breathe, meditate, chill, slow down, trust, all these things, so that we can allow the energy to it's like a power bar. We're getting a power surge, so we need to just let it run through us and just reabsorb it, recalibrate with it. So, sorry. So that we can be in this world and not go crazy. And people who don't know that are not having a good time.
That is true. I can see that too. How fascinating. So I love, everything that you said resonates with me because intuitively, and there's this energetic resonance, something when you speak, then my body get all these goosebumps, and I have a smile on my face, like, yes, a billion times to all that.
Love it.
But then the other part that's kind of sad is that I see some of my family members kind of almost like wanting to stay away from me even. The more I speak about these things, the more almost like upset they get.
Exactly.
They don't want to be around me.
That's very common. I mean, I've gone through a lot of incarnations of friendships as I've risen in my frequency. And I've had some people actually kind of just tell me, like, I don't like you, you're always so happy, and why do you have to be so good? It's like, whoa, okay. We can't, like I say, we can't force anybody to grow. And I just say, okay, I understand where you're at, and we're not sharing the same frequency because like attracts like. So I'm going to move over here to be with these people now. And I love you, and I'll see you maybe on the other side, maybe not. So it's very important that we acknowledge our own growth, and with it comes, change. Like a lot of people don't like people who are successful or happy or healthy or have something that they don't think they can have, which is not the truth, but they don't have in the present at least. And they're jealous, or they're envious, or they're threatened by it, because being in ignorance sometimes, or being unwell sometimes, can be a way of not taking responsibility. And I kind of think that humanity has to grow up We've all got to become adults now,
Yes.
and step into our power and show our best and brightest light. It's very important for that.
Beautifully said. Yes. I love that. Yes. The growing up part too. Yeah. Taking responsibility. I see a lot of people in my family too. They talk about, they seem to be, they are relying on the government all the time. So before Democrats, they're like criticizing them that they're not making enough money because of the Democrats. And then Trump won, and then we have the Republicans here, and now they're complaining too that he's not doing enough. It's becoming actually worse. So it's like the parenting, almost that they are seeing, other people as their parents, that they are supposed to provide for them and make them happy and all those things. So I can see that clearly what you're saying. Yeah,
exactly, Valeria. And that's one of my big, I'm going to say selling points about intuition, but it's free, so I'm not selling anything, but it's about really acknowledging the power that you have within you. And while sometimes that can be scary, acknowledging that power and saying, I have no excuse. It's not the government, the weather, because my big toe hurts or whatever. It's us having the will to decide that we can do it. We have the power. We are capable of doing anything, and with the support of the universe, absolutely. But, we can manifest. And my latest service to my clients is actually intuitive manifestation coaching. So instead of somebody coming to me and telling them what's going to happen to them, and then going off, hopefully embracing that and allowing that to come in, I want to be able to tune in and see their potential and also help them manifest it.
Right.
So to get them in the frequency, and what that means is them loving themselves enough to know that they deserve to have this beautiful outcome, that they to believe that it's available to them, and then to step into it as if they're already in it. And that's the key. And a lot of people go, oh, no, Natasha, I can't do that. No, you've got the wrong person. You're talking about my sister. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm talking about you. And so it's exciting for me because a lot of people are opening up, and a lot of people are choosing to go after their dream, and that's very, very rewarding and exciting.
It is, yeah. It's funny they use the word exciting. I'm getting that a lot lately. I'll talk to you about it later. But another question that's in me here that wants to be asked is the grieving part. What I feel now by some of my family members wanting to stay away from me, in the sense of that I'm making decisions now. They're feeling a little bit threatened by the decisions too that I'm making. Like what you're speaking about, now trusting that inner power, that inner voice, and just going with it. So I'm just feeling a lot more supported now to do it. And some people are not really feeling comfortable around anymore, my family members. And I feel like there's some sadness, kind of, I think it's grief. Is that grief that I might be losing them?
Absolutely. I mean, if they were to move to another country, which is kind of what they've done, or you've moved to the other country, it's like that. And I've had to go through that myself, with my family, and people, like very few of my family kind of acknowledge my abilities. They've got no clue what I do, really. It's kind of interesting. And I just accept them for where they're at and what they do, as much as possible. But absolutely, there's massive period of grief, and I think loving them where they're at, and just being with them where they're at, is really helpful to me. So I don't have to leave them all together. Like, people can have their beliefs. I'm not here to judge or tell you you've got to believe this or that. So I kind of meet them where they're at, and I don't talk about anything that's beyond their belief systems or alien to them when I'm with them. And I just talk on their level, and that works. And I don't then have to separate from them as much. But yeah, I do have a whole set of friends where I can just speak my truth, and it's wonderful and freeing. And even when I meet new people, I listen to the language that they're speaking, and I can tell exactly where they're at in the spiritual evolution, and I just try and meet them there, so I don't have to separate from them.
Because we are not separate anyway. Yeah, we share this one essence, right? Ground of existence is one. Everything's divine, everything's sacred, and I have realized that long ago. So, but there's this part of me that keeps, what do you call it? Is that skills that you have, wisdom, where you don't, like you're saying, you meet them where they're at. I have this very strong tendency of talking to people around me, anyone, about spiritual things. Like I can't help it. It's almost like a choiceless choice. It comes out of me. I can't really have small conversations, and I cannot lie about it. I cannot be inauthentic. So what is your suggestions for people like that, like me, that we are not compromising in a way?
Yeah, no, I'm all about being authentic. And when people first asked me, Valeria, when I started my professional practice, I've been reading for longer than I care to mention, but professionally, after about 20 years, I thought, okay, it's time to get real. And before then, I was very reticent to say, people say, well, what do you do? Or I was very reticent to say I'm psychic. And then I just put my big girl panties on and said, okay, Natasha, it's time to claim it. So I'd look them straight in the eye and say, I'm a psychic, or I'm a spirit medium, or I'm a spiritual healer. And some of them would go, oh, that's fascinating. Tell me more. And others would look at me like I just, made a rude noise or something and walk away. And I go, okay, well, that's their choice. But I have to be me. And I think you have to be you. And as long as you're not trying to beat people over the head with your beliefs, I think if you bring it up and they don't gravitate toward you, they just walk away, I let them go. But those people that gravitate towards me, and that's how we find our tribe, I think, by being authentic and speaking our truth. And then we attract those people that are on our frequency and our belief systems, and who we can really enjoy and benefit from.
Yes. So that's something that I'm learning to do. It seems like it's a process to kind of meet with, and I do that a lot of times too, in a way that still feels authentic to me. But this is a paradox in a way, right? Because we know that. We know the truth in the sense that we are always spiritual beings. We are not here to live, to experience this reality driven by fear. So that's something that I have a hard time when I sense that people around me, they're just so stressed out, living in the fear realm. And then I can't, I have a hard time. Then I start talking about love, how wonderful that realm is, and inviting them in a way. But then, they meet there with a lot of, they meet me with a lot of rejection. But I think it has to do also with the resistance, right? Because fear, it's a very, the egoic mind, the false self, as we know, it's just words, but that feeling that we are separate from life itself, from the sacred, that is a very powerful, it is real in its own right. So I can't really ignore or deny that reality.
Yeah, you said something there about the fear, and what came back for me was when I was starting out telling people my truth, I did have a quasi expectation of rejection or ridicule or, oh, what are you talking about? Or, that kind of thing. So I think sometimes it was my fear that I was carrying in my body language and expecting the rejection. That's when I got the rejection. But now, years later, I'm just doing me, and I'm just like, take me or leave me. I don't care. I know my truth. I'm speaking it. I'm shouting from the rooftops, and you'll either come towards me or you'll run like crazy away from me. And I'm just absolutely fine with it, because I've got so many people, and they're increasing in numbers, who are coming toward me. And it's not like, I want to say, see, I knew I was right. It's not like that, but it's like I'm settling really into owning who I am. And the more I do that, the less rejection I get. And people will, I mean, we were talking to some people yesterday, and they're lovely people, and they don't share my beliefs. And I asked them a question. They said, no, sorry, Natasha, I don't go there. And I said, I totally respect that. That's fine. We're still friends. We love each other.
Right.
They don't have to believe what I believe, not at all. And who knows, maybe I am a crazy lady, but I'm happy in my craziness.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying my craziness, and I'm helping
Yes.
a lot of people find their freedom to be in their craziness, whatever that is. It's all good. It's all good.
Yes, I love that too. So it is the discernment. I hear that from you now, and also being able to in that kind of know where it's coming from, the fear is coming from, because a lot of time it's just as you said, a reflection of our own fear. That's something that I need to become more aware of, because we are complex beings. It's interesting how complex it is. It's almost not right. We cannot know everything.
Yeah. And Valeria, sorry to keep interrupting, but I'm just, you keep bringing up great points. And I teach manifestation coaching,
Right.
and I study it as well. And our outer world is always just a reflection of our inner world. So whatever we're holding as true about us,
Right.
that's what's going to manifest in the outer world. So if you think you're poor, guess what's going to happen? Or you think you can't get the job, that's going to be what happens.
Right.
So it's about really working on the inner self, and being at peace, and being empowered, and being authentic, and loving who you are, no matter what. And if you do that, you'll be amazed at how your world gets into shape very quickly.
Yes. Thank you for saying that too. It's such another beautiful confirmation, because I get that all the time about honoring the sacredness of self, of being you. So there's a lot of that, honoring here, the sacredness here, so we can honor others and the environment and everything else. So it's everything's connected, obviously. It's not separate. So yes. Before we talk about the 10 health benefits of trusting your intuition, I'm curious about the Ghostbuster. How does it work? Is that a sessions, or how? Yeah, how do you?
So I love, to be quite honest with you, Valeria, this is one of my favorite things to do, because I'm helping spirits that have been stuck for maybe 500 years, 300 years. I mean, it's brutal for them. So anytime somebody says, I've got a ghost, I'll always say, well, have you asked the ghost if they want help? So what will typically happen is a client will call and say, Natasha, I'm living in this house, and there's been activity, and I will ask them what kind of activity, because I don't deal with demonic spirits. It's just if there's like an unhappy spirit and they're slamming doors or dropping pictures off the wall, that kind of thing, I will go and help them. So I kind of tune in through the client to the ghost, and then I go to the property and I do kind of a walkabout of the property. And if you like, Valeria, I can give you one example. I used to live on the Sunshine Coast in British Columbia, and a client called me and she said, Natasha, I don't know what's going on, but I've got a house that's been on the market for 2 years and it hasn't sold. And I think there's a spirit in my living room. And she said, my husband doesn't believe in this kind of thing. So could you come up, when he's not there? So I actually went up that day because it just worked. It was perfect timing, and went in the house, and it was pristinely clean. It was beautiful. But sure enough, I walked in the living room and there was this tall male spirit sitting in a chair. And so I always ask the spirit, why are you here? And do you want to stay, or would you prefer to go home and be with all your relatives on the other side and be in peace? So this man said, well, yeah, I'm here because I feel like I need to be here. There were 2 other girl spirits in there, 2 indigenous girls who I could pick up on. And I said, well, they're not your responsibility, actually, and I think they want to stay. But your mother is missing you. So what I do is I sit with the owner. Once I've established that the spirit does want to move on, I'll work with the owner, because they have a relationship too. And I asked for the ghost spirit guides and angels to come in and take the spirit up into heaven, essentially.
Right.
And I'm really telling a very quick version of this. It takes
Yeah.
a bit longer than that. But
Yeah.
what I experience is the heavens literally open up. I'm sitting there holding hands with the owner. And in this case, the mother reached down through the opening and pulled her son up into the heavens.
Wow.
And it's just like the energy in the room changes dramatically. It's like somebody pumps oxygen into the air,
Right.
and you can go, oh, I can breathe now. It's just lighter. It's airier.
Yeah.
It happens every single time I'm successful as a Ghostbuster. And
Wow.
this man went up, and then the mother came back down through to me and said, thank you for giving me my son back.
Yeah.
And then she returned, and it kind of closes off. And I'm often crying with the client, with the owner, at the relief of it. So she called me a little while later, and I said, what happened about the house? She said, well, 3 days later, somebody drove by and made an offer on my property sight unseen and sold it.
Wow. Yeah.
After 2 years of being stuck.
Amazing.
So it's a lot longer story, and there was a cow involved, but we won't get into that. I released the cow as well.
That's amazing.
But it's beautiful. It's and it's just about forgiveness. Like, spirits stay stuck because they're not at peace with themselves, with something that they did, with somebody here on earth.
Yeah.
It's like all of us, we all have our ghosts. We're walking around. We've all got things from the past that we're allowing that energy to dictate our present and our future, instead of making peace with it and releasing it and just being free.
Right.
We're dragging this thing around like a bag of bricks. And one of my big passions is to get people to reframe the past, so that they can be at peace in the present and have a fantastic future.
Right. That's such a beautiful work too. Listening to you, it's almost like a trip. I was just traveling, kind of visualizing everything that you're saying. Yeah. The question that comes to me is that similar to exorcism? Some people believe that the spirit of that person who has passed is actually within them, in their psyche or somewhere in there. Okay. Is that possible too? To be in them?
Absolutely. Oh. Absolutely. There's actually, when people ask me about my first book, I think I'm psychic, and ask me, how I became psychic, the short answer was, well, if my mother hadn't been psycho, I wouldn't be psychic.
Yeah.
The sad part is, the sad part is that's true. And she was very psychic, and she was very angry and enraged. She drank a lot. Her frequency was extremely low. And I believe she was possessed, because I'd see this thing come into her, and she just turned into like the devil. Right. And what I do is not an exorcism. If it's something that strong or powerful, those nasty spirits normally, because they're so full of rage, they normally do not want to leave. They want to cause havoc and, hurt people. It's very, very nasty, very nasty.
Right.
And I just go, I'm not going to be dealing with that. Thank you very much. I'm just helping those people that are just wounded, I would say wounded, and want to go home. And I just help them get through that process. But I have come across, and people have asked me, would I come? And I've said, I don't think so. I think I'm going to refer you to the Catholic priest at the local church, and they're trained in that. Yeah. And it can be successful, absolutely. But I'm not trained in that, and I just like to stay in my ballpark. I know what I'm capable of and what works for me. And I think it's dangerous if you try and go too far outside of your toolbox.
Yes.
It's there are other people for that. So that's what I do. I never leave anybody high and dry, but I don't do that. And I get guidance around that as well, Valeria.
Right.
I actually had a very bad dream about I was going to go and help this girl who had committed suicide,
Yeah.
and her spirit was still haunting this apartment building. And her friend had come to me and said, "Oh, can you help Natasha?" And I said, "Oh, sure," thinking it was just, not just, but, a suicide. And then I had a dream where they showed me that her energy, this girl's energy, had been so low that she had actually been possessed by these really dark entities.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be dealing with her, I'd be dealing with them.
Right.
And they actually attacked me in my dream. It's called a psychic attack.
Yes.
And I went, okay, that's a warning to me. I'm not meant to be doing that. So I didn't. I said, "I'm sorry. I'm not the person for this job. I'm going to refer you to somebody else."
Yeah.
And so I did.
Yes. Yeah. So that's another beautiful example of you listening to your inner voice. Yeah. Your own.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we don't go too far. I have noticed I'm very sensitive to energies too. And I noticed that some places, when I walk into some places, it's just, they don't feel right. And sometimes the whole village, at times, like in France, that this place that I went there for a meditation retreat, it just didn't feel right. Something was not right around that place. Almost like everybody seemed to be possessed in a way, except for some people, few people. But and then sure enough, they just did something that confirmed that later on. That was that's something else. But it's so important to listen to that intuition again. And the sooner the better. So I think I have learned my lesson, but it's something that we are always kind of expanding and learning, right, Natasha? Or
exactly.
Do you, is that what you would say too? That we are always learning?
The universe is a creative place.
Yeah.
And energy, which means in motion, it comes from the Greek meaning emotion, never really stays stuck.
Right.
It might slow down its frequency, and we might feel stuck, but we're either in creative mode where we're open, expanding and growing and learning more and more, or we can go into destructive mode where we're feeling stuck, and we kind of going backwards, and then our energy can become destructive, which is exactly what happened to my mother. Instead of choosing to forgive my father for his, his behavior, she just got angry and was powerless, and she just wanted to destroy.
Yeah.
And it was just, wow, really?
Right.
It was so sad.
Right.
So, yes, we're always choosing whether we're going forwards or backwards, but we never really, really stuck. So I always say to people, why not open your mind and just say anything is possible, and embrace what you want to have happen as already coming to you right now, and feel the power of that.
Yes. A trillion times to that. I love I love the invitation. And I have been doing that already, of course. So gosh, we're almost at the end, and I wanted to get this here because it's the title of the episode is the 10 health benefits for trusting your intuition. So this is more related to the body itself, health and wellness, which is a part, of course, that I'm interested in too. But for some reason, I'm more interested in the depth of the psychic itself, how it works, the energy and our psychology, and then intuition when it comes to vision. But so I would love for you to disclose those 10 benefits here now at the very end. What are they?
Okay. Okay. I would say the first thing is to know that it is your divine right to be healthy. So the human body is a beautiful machine and it works perfectly. But what happens is we send negative thinking into it, and of course we wear it down. So I would just say the first one is kind of get happy. Do whatever it takes, whether it's a hobby, to leave a relationship, study spirituality, go to church on Sundays, breathe properly, meditate. All those things are really, really important for your health. So get into the frequency of joy. Number two, I love when I'm in doubt and I don't know which way to go. This really helps me stay out of stress. And as we know, stress causes illness. So the less stress we put on the body, the healthier we're going to be. So decision making is I kind of actually say I don't have to make a decision because I just need to wait for the guidance.
Yeah.
And I can go for a walk in nature while I'm waiting, go and have a coffee with a girlfriend, watch a movie, just surrender it, let it come to me. So I love the saying, we do without doing and everything gets done.
Yeah.
So the universe is taking care of us so we can relax, so we don't need to feel the stress.
Yes.
Number 3 is know that although we're going through these crazy times, you are not going crazy, even though you might feel it. And just stop and breathe. Sit still for 5 minutes a day. Really focus on your breath, nice, slow in, and then exhaling nice and long and slow. And what I like to do is put a crystal bowl, a virtual crystal bowl in front of myself, and just blow out any thoughts, any visions, any nasty things that are going on in my life, any nasty people, put them in the bowl and say, angels, please take them away from me and fix them for me. And so it's out of my body. So you always want to get that negativity out of the physical body so it doesn't cause stress within.
Yes. Beautiful.
I think taking responsibility for your own health. So not giving power, God bless the doctors, the medical doctors, but they're not all always right. They make mistakes. They look at your body, in my experience, like it's like a little mini car. You are a Lamborghini with a driver and you're driving it. You have the consciousness. So remember not to give your power away. And if somebody says to you, oh, and I've heard some horror stories about doctors saying to my clients, oh, what do you expect? You'll be dead in 6 months. Or what do you expect? You've got this going on. And it takes everything, it takes all the stuffing out of their will. So to really, do you decide, do you want to live or you do want to die? And then you tell the doctor what you want and don't give them that power. You choose the outcome.
Yes.
Know that you can heal your own body. And I'm a really big fan of Joe Dispenza. He's a neurologist. He talks about changing the brain, changing the thinking, changing the emotions. And the emotions actually are the fuel of our body. So if we're feeling sad, depressed, stuck in grief, we haven't forgiven, we're ungrateful, we're in all those negative emotions, that's going to create more disease. So we've got to switch that. And he's free. He's on YouTube, Joe Dispenza, and he talks about changing the neuroplasticity of the brain, which changes the physiology of the body. So it can be done. Just know that it is already done. So state that. Seek out people that have overcome their illnesses. People who've come back from cancer right from the very edge of dying. There's a great book by Anita Mojani, Dying to Be Me. And she came right back from the very edge of death. She was actually, they're just about to turn off all the machines. And she said, no, I'm not doing this. I actually am too young to die. I want to live. And it was her will that brought her back to health. So you choose. Not everybody wants to live, and that's fine. If you want to leave the planet, that's your choice. But if you do want to live, know that you can, and there's plenty of help to support you on that.
Yes.
Remember to always, when you get up in the morning, like right as you wake up, while you're still in that sleepy state, where your ego mind, you have got quite fully into your ego, you're still in your subconscious mind, and right before you go to bed at night, think, I am healthy. My body is radiantly healthy. I'm leaping through the tulips. I don't care what's going on in your body, it can heal. So when you program your subconscious mind to be healthy, you give it those messages, you'll find you'll feel better. You start doing things differently. You hold your body differently. You might choose a different diet. It's the will and the subconscious mind that is going to empower your health. It's a good idea if you've got, we didn't get into this, Valeria, but if you've got pain that you've had since you were a child, or something that comes and goes all the time. So I healed a woman, for example, she came to me for reading, and I saw a virtual arrow in her hip. And I felt it was from a past life. And many of us are walking around with illnesses or pains, aches and pains that the doctors can't diagnose because it's in our cellular memory, which we brought in from a past life.
Right.
And so I think we should all get regular past life regressions done to check in with, what am I still carrying here? What haven't I forgiven? And that's all it takes. And I've healed many, many people through past life regression work, where they've taken that arrow out of their hip and they've turned it into a peace pipe and offered it to anybody they've hurt in their past, and they've been forgiven. Everybody's good, and complete and instant change. It's like a ghostbusting.
Right.
So past life regression work is good for health. The other one is acknowledging your intergenerational trauma, because we carry everything that our ancestors have gone through that they didn't heal in their lifetimes, and it's the legacy they've planted on us. It's like, thanks a lot, Granddad. It's like, I've got to heal this now. It's my turn. Otherwise, when I go back over the other side and I'm kind of regurgitated and come back and reborn, I'm going to pick up where we left off. So with each generation, we have the opportunity to heal that.
Right.
And the last thing I'd like to say is, and you mentioned it, Valeria, is about grief.
Yes.
Grief is a good thing when you express it. It's a very human process of easily letting go of what's given you joy in the past, and now it's no longer. But know that it's human to feel that pain, that anger, that loss. And I think it's very good practice to write about it. So again, you get it out of your body and to get to the core of your ill health, because it's your pain or illness is your spirit speaking to you through your physical body and telling you that your spirit isn't happy with what is, or how you're thinking, or what you're feeling. So, getting to the core of that, like what is really bothering me deep down, and how can I heal that? And so feeling the grief, allowing it to pass through you, maybe going to a grief counselor to help you, guide you through that so you can release it. But I'm going to say this, all this cancer that's around right now, which is pandemic in proportions, is about unexpressed grief. So give yourself a break and let yourself feel the feelings, and go out to the forest and scream if you need to, or bang a pillow. Don't hurt anybody else or yourself, but just get that out of your body.
Yes. Yeah. Gosh, Natasha, that's amazing. How many tools, right, we have are available to to expand not just our health, to improve our health, but also expand our hearts and our minds, and the evolution, really just tap into more the next evolution of being a human. There's so much that we can tap into. So that's a beautiful invitation, your work. And of course, and there's so many other people that I also work with, that I'm around. I have so much devotion for it. And so thank you so much for being you, for being true to that voice. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valeria, for the work you do. I've tapped into a few of your podcasts, and they're very high quality guests that you have on. So I'm honored to be here with you today. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about my passion, what I love to do.
Yes, I love doing this too. So we are on the same kind of, same note, right? Same page. I love having these conversations and doing, kind of working in the realm of healing, spirituality. I can't help it. It's a choice, less choice, I usually say. It really is.
Yeah.
So I wanna mention your website, natasharosewood.com. It will be clickable here on the podcast notes. Also, your books, everything will be here. It can be found on your website and on Amazon too. I'll have the links. I want to mention again your services: Quantum Healing 1, Quantum Healing 2, Psychic Intuitive Readings, Past Life Regressions, Spirit Mediumship, Ghostbusting, psychic and intuitive skills coaching. Did I miss anything? I think you mentioned another. Is that a workshop? Something that you are?
Well, I do all kinds of workshops, Valeria, but yes, on manifestation, psychic development, and manifestation is my most recent, my newest service, intuitive manifestation. So that's very exciting, and I will be developing an online workshop for that.
Oh,
so thank you.
Beautiful. Yes. Thank you for saying that, and I love that you are adding the word intuitive before manifestation.
Exactly.
Yeah. For some reason, I was never interested and attracted to the law of attraction and all those secret and all those things. I mean, it was intriguing, but it never resonated, and I never knew exactly why. So now that the way you speak, it resonates because it's coming from intuition. We can't go wrong when it's coming from that place.
No. And you'll only manifest what is for your highest good. Yes. So for me, it's about plugging into what that is first, and then manifesting where you want to go and really your authentic self, like we say.
Yes. The thing is about intuition is that I feel like feels very real to me, that it's very benevolent, and it's always connected to not just you as a body, mind, as an entity, but also the family, and then the community, and then humanity, and then the earth. It's funny how it includes everything. It never excludes anyone or anything. It's beautiful.
Yeah, Valeria, thank you for saying that, because clients say, well, Natasha, it hasn't happened yet. And I say, well, there's a synchronicity that has to go on with other people. It's not just about you.
Yes.
It has to fit with what's going on this web that we're all part of.
That's it. Yeah. So to me, that's my sign, my confirmation, really. When I know, okay, you have this intuitive kind of guidance or thought, whatever it is, vision. But then when the mind kind of analyzes what it's trying to do or say, and I see that's helping everyone. It's trying to kind of spread the message. Basically what I'm doing here, I'm very, very careful not to get kind of mixed up with other things, like, selfish things. Those, they don't resonate right for me. And I can pick it up fast too these days, which is really, I'm proud of that in a way, that I'm learning to use that tool. So, but thank you so much again for your beautiful presence, for giving yourself to life the way you have, and for saying yes to this conversation. And then we'll be in touch again, Natasha. Take good care of your beautiful self for now.
Thank you, Valeria. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Natasha J. Rosewood and her work, please visit natasharosewood.com.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.